Hello again. So I thought I might just do a quick video on what my plans are for food and resupply. I will say, so I didn't actually send any resupply boxes to myself last time, and I've decided to send just a couple in the early stages of resupplies to myself this time. And that's literally because I'm very disorganized and I let my stomach do the shopping when I'm resupplying, and that tends to lead to me packing way too much food. So that I can, I guess, make the process of resupplying efficient and get what I want, then I've been a little bit of a planner around that this time compared to what I did last time. I sort of feel like by the time you've got to Hot Springs, you get your stuff sorted, you know what you like and what you don't like, and also by the time you get to Hot Springs and you've got the post office right there, I think I'll actually end up sending back some of my excess gear and things like that. So my plan is to give myself enough resupply to basically make it to Hot Springs, although I've tended to provide sort of food for myself from A to B in the minimum number of days and taking off where I think that I might actually eat, you know, somewhere that's available along the way. So for example, I think that I only need 4 days worth of food to get from Amicalola to Hiawassee, because I will pick up at least my 1 or 2 meals in Neil's Gap, but if I need to, I can pick up more. And likewise between Hiawassee and Fontana Dam, I've got the Knock right there and a great burger joint, so I'm sure to at least have 1 meal, if not more, that I can sort of, I guess, regulate and top up. I think the other reason I wanted to resupply this way is because whilst Ingles and Dollar General is readily available, which is great for things like rice sides or pasta sides, unfortunately some of the time you can't get access to backpacker meals, and I actually find that if I have a backpacker meal, that makes me far more organized, and it's my preference. So in the sales around Christmas and New Year, I ended up picking up quite a lot of backpackers meals, just a complete variety of all sorts of them. I don't mind them that blunt like a lot of people, but so, and that way picking them up in the sales, I was able to pick them up for like an average of $8 or $9 instead of like $12, $13, maybe even $15 in some of the places along the trail. So yeah, I'm spending some money through mailing, but I'm also, I think I've saved a little bit of money and organization through what I've done. And also it means I don't have to go resupply. So if I'm in town, or like, you know, I can just relax at a hostel. I don't need to bother about, I need to do a show. So that's what I pretty much plan to do. Also, I sort of thought with the resupply, there's a couple of non-food items that you can put in your resupply box if you've got one going anyway. So one of the things I foolishly pick up, I think like a lot of people, is if you're at a hotel that has really good shampoo and conditioner, then I would often pick those up, and I went to throw them out when I was moving out of this place, and actually realized, why don't you just send one of like a little shampoo and conditioner in your resupply boxes? Because whilst a lot of the hotels and hostels along the way do obviously provide them, a lot of the time they're not up to what you might like. So if you found one that you liked, rather than throwing it out now, why don't I just put it in my resupply box? Likewise, when I bought hand warmers, you know, the hot hands, if you buy them in bulk, it's much cheaper, and it was better to do that and then just divide them between resupply boxes. So I've got some to begin with, and then I've sent some to myself along the way. So this is just my Hiawassee box that I've got here. I'm going to start with lunch because it's just on top. And so for lunches, most of the time, I'm doing tortillas, the mini ones, because I don't really like having the big ones. I find it's too much bread and it's just a little bit too dehydrating and dries me out a little bit. And I'm going to do that with some salami and some cheese. I also have in here some ketchup packets so that I can, you know, obviously add that to the mix and not have the lunch too dry. I can also add to the tortillas. I've bought some almond butter. So this is chocolate and coffee almond blend, trail butter. So I guess for breakfast, if my breakfast isn't cutting it for me, then I can also add that to these, and you know, that's fine as well. So I guess that's my potentially breakfast and lunch options. My main breakfast that I've chosen to pack in here is actually the soft baked banana bread Velveeta bars. I really like these. I've been using them a lot to sort of have breakfast snacks when I'm going on practice hikes. They fit really well in my side pockets on my backpack. I normally don't like to eat breakfast before I set out for the day, so because a lot of the climbs are straight uphill, then I normally like to get like halfway through that climb and then use a little breakfast break bar to break that up a little bit for me. So I have 2 of these for every day. I don't know if you want to call them breakfast or a snack, but I guess as my hiker hunger picks up, if I want to, I can also have a tortilla with peanut butter. So here are my hot hands that I was just talking about. And then for my evening meals, as I mentioned, I have backpacker meals. And I have all different flavors because that's pretty much what I picked up. So as you can see here, we've got chicken pesto pasta. This is my favorite, all-time favorite, pad thai with chicken. I've actually got one of these in every box. For the most part, I've tried not to duplicate my meals. I've got just a lasagna, fettuccine, Alfredo with chicken, and then a sweet pork and rice as well. So those 5 meals I'm hoping should get me broadly from Hiawassee to Fontana Dam. As I said, if I'm going slowly and I need to pick up an extra meal, I can, but I don't want to take too many meals because that's much, much worse, because there's always options to pick up food along the way. There's, you know, and there's even potential for trail magic, not that you would ever want to count on it. So that's pretty much where I've gotten to with all of my main meals. Because obviously you go through a border crossing from Georgia to North Carolina, I have a little bottle of Kahlua to celebrate the border crossing. People who know me will know me well for getting obsessed with Kahlua when I was younger. And I thought about doing vodka. I'm not sort of one for many hard spirits, but I really like a little bit of Kahlua. Also, it's got that coffee in it to just pick me up without creaminess of like a Baileys or something. In terms of my fluids, I've got LMNT electrolyte mixes, just a full range of them. So, you know, raspberry salt, citrus salt, etc. So those are these. I don't know if you guys have seen them before, but they do come in a massive range of flavors. I really like these as a substitute for just water. These tree lemons that you can pick up in most grocery shops. They're really small and really light, and I find that they make me drink more fluids than I would otherwise. And then in the evenings, I've got a little Choc-Mint hot chocolate mix that, particularly in the early days when I'm cold, I used to find that drinking one of these before going to sleep at night was both a dessert and it actually just warmed me up all the way to my toes. So also packed in here is a very small bag, or maybe small bag. It's all puffed up now, but trust me, you can condense them, of marshmallows. So the marshmallows can obviously be for the fire, you can just eat them raw, or you can put them in your hot chocolate. But what I find really good about marshmallows is they're really light and an easy snack, and you can get sick of them easily. So, you know, there's a stopping point before you have too many. And then in terms of my snacks during the day, I've done mainly Kind bars. So I got a little hooked on Kind bars last time, and thankfully I'm still not over them. This one is my favorite, which is caramel almond and sea salt. But they're all pretty good, and I've subsequently tried most of them. So they're all pretty good. One of the things that so as I mentioned, that's my shampoo and conditioner. Obviously I'm not taking that on trail. I'll just leave whatever is left over in the hostel, or I'll throw it out in the hostel. I'm not taking that on trail, but it's in my resupply boxes. One of the things that I learnt to do hiking in cold weather, so I think I was taught this when I climbed Kilimanjaro actually, is pack cough lollies. So anything that's going to clear your sinuses, so that if it's really cold and you get that sort of runny nose feeling and you're walking up a hill and you just feel like you can't breathe, packing a couple of cough lollies just to tuck in the side of your mouth when you're walking uphill can actually be a really good way to set off. So if you're in the snow or something like that, or you're just having a really bad cold spell on the trail, tucking a couple of these cough lollies. So I've got here the Vapor Cool Vicks drops, is actually just a really easy way to, I guess, clear your sinuses without necessarily having to do anything too gross on the trail. So the other thing I have in here, as well as muesli bars to snack on, is just some M&Ms. I like actually carrying one of these per resupply because I use this Ziploc bag from each resupply to resupply. I actually keep an empty one, and then I use that as a rubbish bag, particularly if it's like toilet paper rubbish or something like that. Sometimes I use wet wipes and I don't really want to see them after they've been used. So, you know, putting that in here or any sort of girly product in here is a much more opaque way of not sort of telling the world what you're up to. So double use, everything should have a double use. That's what these types of things are for. And I do have a couple of small Snickers bars also in this resupply, and something I got hooked on when I was diving is Tang Fast sticks. Just a little jelly candy. Again, jelly candies are really good because they're lightweight when you're hiking, and you know, they're squashable. I really like them. So that's pretty much my resupply. It's pretty much the same for most of them in terms of the bulk. I guess just some of the flavors have changed in terms of, you know, my candies have changed slightly. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think the only other thing that is in one of my resupply boxes is I've sent more wet wipes to myself just because I had a spare set left over. So just before I go into the Smokies, I'll probably take some extra TP and toilet paper in. So yeah, I guess that means the only thing I need that isn't in my resupply boxes is fuel, but I know that I can pick up fuel from Fontana Dam Marina. I know I can pick it up from the Knock. I know I can pick it up from Neil's Gap. I will pick it up before I leave. I'm actually going to take the 8-ounce can, which is the slightly bigger one, which might actually get me all the way through to the other side of the Smokies. But yeah, that's pretty much it from me. If you've got any questions, happy to answer them. But yeah, hope you have a good day.